please use their microphone at all times for the benefit of those participating in council chambers and joining remotely. I will now call this meeting to order. We would like to begin this meeting by acknowledging that the land on which we gather is situated within the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas. More specifically, the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, signatories of the Gunshot Treaty of 1788 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. This land is and will continue to be home to the Indigenous peoples. Let us acknowledge the mistakes and traumas of the past through authenticity and support truth and reconciliation. Let us engage and celebrate Indigenous communities by being leaders of action in acknowledging the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's recommendations towards truth and reconciliation. Let us keep these principles close as we continue towards truth and reconciliation and as we move forward with kindness and respect as a community. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. We will now move to the adoption of the minutes. We have the regular meeting of January 13th, 2025, and the closed session meeting of January 13th, 2025. May I have a motion, please, to adopt the minutes? Regional Councillor Lee. Let's vote. Oh, and that passes, thank you. Looking at the wrong screen. Okay, let's go to item 4, the consent agenda. We have 3 items pulled today, 4.2, 4.5, and 4.7. Could I have a mover, please, for the remaining items? I see Councillor Henry. Let's vote on that, please. And that passes, thank you very much. So 4.2 is Surety Bond Pilot Program Update. That was pulled by Mayor Collier. Are you on the line, Mayor Collier? I don't see him. Maybe we'll move past that. Turn his mic on. There he is. Oh, there he is. Hi, Mayor Collier.
I'm here. I'm hiding.
We found you.
My question, and I did submit this prior to a couple of the other councillors, just in case I was not able to make it. I do have another meeting at 1:30, so I apologize. But my questions are to do with the wording on page, I believe it was 19 or 13. It says that the limit of $2 million for a surety bond can be exceeded with the, I guess, oversight and discretion of the treasurer. And my question was, is that legislated or is that sort of an internal control?
Through the chair to Mayor Collier. Sorry, through the chair to Mayor Collier. It is not in legislation.
Is that me?
I don't want there to be any slowdowns. There's enough hurdles in the planning process as it is. We did push pretty hard to be one of the first municipalities in the province to accept surety bonds as an alternate method for securities. It does tie up quite a bit, and I don't want to see of collateral for developers who know they are having trouble in getting some of these projects moving. I would prefer that the wording at the end of that paragraph, and I did provide it to Christy and to some others there, where it says basically anything excess, it's the last sentence. Let me just find it on my thing. It'd be easier.
Do you want me to say?
Yes, go ahead if you have it.
Through the chair to Mayor Collier. So there's no legislative requirement to have limits at this point. Those were guide rails put in by staff and to be reviewed if a developer did come in with a higher request, but it would not impede the process at all.
Okay. Well, just to be, it would require your approval. So I would like to move an amendment, please, Madam Chair, at the appropriate time.
Through the chair, just to Mayor Collier, it wouldn't really require my approval, just a review to ensure that we're aware of the amounts that were coming forward.
Okay. So with the wording that says currently, and approved at the discretion of the treasurer in accordance with policy and legislations, my motion would be for that wording to be struck. We started this with I believe a 1 million cap, and then we had to approve it or increase it to 2 million because it wasn't adequate. It wasn't allowing for projects to go ahead. Most of the projects that we have brought forward now and approved, and they're in the planning process, are well in excess of 2 million. I don't expect any to come in under that amount. And alternately, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I have asked this question before, there's only ever been historically one time when planning have had to draw down on securities for a project, and that was to do with the Central Park project across the road, which was, I think, make sure, and especially since this isn't legislated, in fact, they have said we will accept surety bonds as a form of security. I would like those words to be struck, please. Thank you.
Through the chair, just one correction to the mayor. So we have had a couple of occasions where we've had to pull down LCs and securities outside of the one that you noted, but we're willing to adjust and remove the limits on the policy.
Okay, that would be my amendment, please, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Valentin and Mayor Collier. So do we have the wording for the amendment? Okay. And CAO Baker, did you want to say something?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm just suggesting that maybe staff can go away and prepare the language and make the changes that the mayor is asking, and it'll come back for council review.
Okay, Mayor
If
Collier?
that's-
Would that be acceptable to you? Staff will take it back to revise the wording for.
We
how
can
it should
provide the
proceed.
language. We can provide the language to council through an email before the meeting too, if the mayor would like to see it.
Oh,
There we go. I turned it off so there wasn't any feedback. Actually, respectfully, I don't think that needs to be done. There is no wording to be provided. I'm just saying take those words out, that the limit and the discretion of the treasurer. I don't think that we need to have this come back again. This is just removal of a couple of words.
okay. And Director Valentin, you already confirmed that that would be fine.
Correct, yep.
Thank you. So do we need wording to make that amendment?
To you, Madam Chair, no, we'll just reflect in the minutes that that direction was provided, but if Director Valentine is sufficient with that direction, then it doesn't need to be an actual amendment, as it's not part of the recommendations today.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Are there any other members of the committee with questions or comments regarding this item? Okay, seeing none, so we will call the vote then, please.
To you, Madam Chair.
Mayor Collier, do you want to move it? Do I have to press this mic? Would you like to be the mover?
I believe we'll do the amendment first, and then yes, I'll move the motion as amended, assuming it passes. Thank you.
Okay, so there is no amendment. Staff have confirmed that the wording will be removed. So, oh, I gotta, okay, go ahead, Mayor.
In that case, happy to move it, Chair. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Moved by Mayor Collier. Let's vote. Thank you, and that passes. So moving to item 4.5, Regional Councillor Crawford, I believe that was you. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question around this generator for the fire. I don't know who to direct this to, but I'm wondering why the generator was removed prior to the insurance claim being done, approved.
Go ahead, Director Meredith.
Through the chair to Regional Councillor Crawford. So originally when the fire took place with respect to the generator, the initial process, and it was for the first several months, was working with our contract provider to see if there's an opportunity to repair as opposed to replace the generator. So went through a process. We had our contractor come in, service, identify sort of some of the issues that they identified as a result of the fire, ordered a series of parts to go through replacing to try and get the generator to work. It was unsuccessful the first time around. We went through a second round as well, where there were some further parts that were brought in to try and repair the generator, get it working without the need to replace it. So in between times, there were sometimes a couple of months that would pass by for the delivery of parts in order for, the repairs to take place. From a staff perspective, as we're going through this initially after the fires, we're trying to see if we can repair, avoid an insurance complaint, or avoid an insurance claim and repair the existing generator. So we were, I'm going to say 8 months to a year down the path of trying to repair and fix the generator before there was a final determination made that it needed to be replaced, that it was basically irreparable. So it was at that time when we placed an order for the generator. So before we put the order to replace the generator, we obviously contacted the insurance pool, and we had an adjuster and a forensic engineer come out and take a look at the generator. We had at least 2, if not 3 visits from the adjuster during that period of time. At the same time, we were ordering the permanent replacement of the generator, which we were told at that time was going to be about a 60-week lead time. So during that period of time, Toromont, the generator provider, came across a generator that was available in Calgary that would work in a much shorter time frame, sort of at the Ajax location. So there were plans to bring that generator to the Ajax site, and as you can appreciate, the logistics about replacing the generator is not simple and straightforward. It's planned. There's a temporary gravel road that had to be built at the fire center to bring in a crane that has to remove the generator and at the same time replace it. So it's all done sort of in one large process. The insurance adjuster was advised of the process and the timelines related to that. So, once we got to the point where we knew there was going to be a replacement needed, we were in contact with the insurance provider. And at the same time, once the timing was identified to be replaced and coordinated, they were advised that took place in terms of the transition, the removal and the replacement of the generator. And it was subsequent to that the adjuster came back and said they would like to visit it one more time. At that point in time, we indicated, we'd advised you've been here at least 2 times, taken pictures, completed your assessment, after which, and we advised you when the generator was being removed because we needed to facilitate the new generator. So we went through that whole process. Now we're getting into about 1.5 to 2 years of going through this process with the insurance pool, and it got to the point where they did ultimately deny the claim that we had made. We went through, received a legal opinion as it related to the replacement, and they indicated that in their minds, they didn't think we would be successful, and they sort of supported the insurance pool in terms of the claim not being approved.
So they came several times and took pictures prior to it being removed, is what you're saying?
I'm gonna say at least twice. We weren't 100% certain whether there was a third visit or not.
But I mean,
Yes.
they took pictures
Yep.
while it was still installed?
Correct.
Right. So, and now they've decided that they are not going to cover this.
And I think the primary reason was from when the original fire, when it took place, and there was a period of time when we were trying to repair it, that we initiated our claim once we deemed that it needed to be replaced, that was their rationale for denying the claim.
That's ridiculous. So when and where was the generator supposed to be replaced in the long-term capital forecast? Did we have it in the forecast at all?
It would have been in the latter part of the forecast. Right now, the generator was built in 2006. It was commissioned in 2008. It has a 25-year life expectancy. So it was built 19 years ago. It was commissioned 17 years ago. So it still had
should have
5 to
last.
7 years of life,
Right.
but it would have been replaced in the latter part of our forecast.
So I'd like to make a motion then that we commence legal action to make sure that we can get this covered. $1 million is nothing to sneeze at. And if we've gone through our due diligence and they had all the pictures already, then I think they need to take responsibility for it, not the taxpayer.
So I think there's just two things on that. So the $1 million claim, I would say the claim is would be about 60%, 60 to 70% of the overall claim, because
Okay.
there were some other things that needed to happen. There were some ESA requirements, some electrical upgrades. We were required to rent a temporary generator for a period of time. There were operating costs associated with trying to repair the generator. So there's, say, $300,000 to $400,000 in buried costs that we would incur. So the claim would be less than that
Okay.
full amount. I guess the caveat that I would have is we've provided all the detailed information, the timelines and everything to a lawyer already, and they have given an opinion that we wouldn't be successful. So I'm just mindful of the fact that if they provided that opinion, then we're adding more cost to this project potentially if we've been advised that we may not be successful. So that would be my only caveat in terms of that direction being provided to staff.
Okay, so just of the million, so you're saying of the 840, let's say, there's about 300,000 that would have been our costs anyway, just because of like the situation that it was in?
Yeah, there was some ESA requirements and electrical hookups to the building that needed to be upgraded regardless. And then we also incurred almost $200,000 in rental costs and repair
Yeah.
costs sort of
Yeah.
upfront as well. So those would be difficult to put forward as part of an insurance claim. So it would be the actual delivery, installation, and procurement of the actual generator itself.
I just find it difficult, like we pay into an insurance pool. And yet it seems like every opportunity with insurance companies, they don't want to pay out the claim. And this is not small money.
Correct.
So you're saying that even if we were to initiate legal action, you don't believe that we would be successful and it would just cost us more money?
That's the opinion that's been provided to us at this point in time. So that would be a concern that we would have.
Okay, I'm not happy, but thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crawford. Councillor Tyler Moran, did you want to speak to this? No. Okay, and Councillor Crawford, you're out. And you're not amending?
Yeah, no.
No amendment. Okay, are there,
Add more cost to everything.
yeah, I know. Are there any other questions on this item? Okay, seeing none. There is one recommendation on the report. Could I have someone to move this report, please? Councillor Henry? Sure. Okay. So we will now vote. Okay, that passes. Thank you. And the final consent agenda item pulled was 4.7, the Integrity Commissioner Annual Report, pulled by Councillor Tyler Moran. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In the Integrity Commissioner's report, my question is, does this report cover the entirety of the reporting period, or could we expect another report from the past IC? That's my first question. To staff, I guess.
Through you, Madam Chair. No, the report that's in front of you today covers October 2024 until the end of year, so December 31st, 2024, as that is the time period that we've had our current integrity commissioner with the town of Ajax. We would not ask our previous integrity commissioners to provide annual reports as we no longer have relationships with them and our contracts are no longer still in within term. So we're not expecting any additional reports, and we also wouldn't want to incur those costs as the town for the
Okay.
additional reports.
I understand. And if I may, my second question is, if the costs are the result of council inquiries, which I guess that's what they would be, but it could also be someone from our community. Should this, is it your opinion, or should this be reflected in our annual council expense report?
Through you, Madam Chair. No, so these are not costs incurred by specific members of council. The cost incurred through the Integrity Commissioner is a service offered to members of council, and we don't want the cost to be a deterrent to them to reach out to the Integrity Commissioner if they ever
Right.
need that advice or those discussions. So no, it's not something that is typically broken out by councillor and provided as part of those expense reports.
Okay, thank you for those answers.
Thank you. Mayor Collier, you're next. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm aware of at least one other complaint, at least against me, with the past integrity commissioner. I know there were costs incurred. The report we have today only shows the cost from this integrity commissioner. I think just out of being transparency, we should at least be reporting the costs, and I know we have that. Do we not, Madam Clerk?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I can get a summary of all costs from the Integrity Commissioner, all of our Integrity Commissioners for 2024, and share that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, I think we'll receive this for information. So could I please have a mover? Regional Councillor Dyes, and please vote. And that passes. Thank you very much. So item 5, there's no discussion on the agenda. We'll move to item 6.1, presentations for the Ajax Community Centre ACC Northfield Community Park Concept Plan Approval. Director Meredith, if you would like to make introductory remarks.
Thank you, Chair. Just before Tan gets started with his presentation, just wanted to provide a bit of a background to indicate sort of how we've arrived at where we're at today. I think, as Council will recall, in 2022, we approved a Rec and Parks Master Plan. And as part of that process, there was a conceptual plan that was provided for the ACC North Community Park and was part of the public consultation process. So that concept was reflected within the approved Recreation and Parks Master Plan, and subsequently we've moved through the budget process to formalize the concept plan, having further public engagement, which we did in December of 2024 as it relates to public information center that was hosted. I do also want to mention that 2 components of this project are tied to provincial funding grants that we received, namely the basketball court and skate park. Both those amenities currently exist just south of the existing parking lot adjacent to the artificial turf fields. As part of the concept plan, we did get the endorsement from the province as it relates to the replacement of these assets within the new ACC community park design. So the skate park and the basketball courts that are part of this project are partially funded through that grant we received in 2021. As we were looking at the ACC from a conceptual standpoint, we then also took the opportunity to look at other components on site, including the existing tennis courts and the area that we're removing the basketball and skate park from. So all those comments and that, I guess, vision from an outdoor amenity space has been captured within the concept plans that are before you today. So I'll let Tan walk you through each of those three components, the feedback that we've received, and then our next steps, subject to council's endorsement today, would be to proceed with detailed design, so that we would complete detailed design over the balance of this year with the idea of constructing in 2026. So the timeframe for 2026 is also important because the funding and the grant money that we received has to be spent by March of 2027. So 2026 is the targeted year for the construction of this project, specifically the community park. The existing the proposed leash-free area in the tennis courts would be subject to another capital detail sheet that would need to be submitted and considered through the budget process. So I'll turn it over to Tan to walk you through the three areas.
Thank you, Director Meredith. Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to present the Ajax Community Center Recreation Hub project. My name is Tan Nguyen, and I'm part of Operations and Environmental Services. Today, I will provide an overview of the enhancements planned for the Ajax Community Center, designed to expand recreational opportunities, enhance accessibility, and strengthen community connections to these public spaces. The North Community Park is a focal point of this project, offering diverse recreational amenities for all ages and abilities, including asphalt pathway for walking, cycling, and more importantly, linking residents from various locations. Two full-size basketball courts located at the north end of the park, a skate park with ramps, rails, and bowls designed for active sports, a modern playground with rubberized surface, senior and junior play structures, swing sets, teeter-totter, climbing apparatus, saddle spinner, and more. The play structure will be designed to meet AODA standards, ensuring inclusivity and accessibility for individuals of all abilities and disabilities. The splash pad will include a variety of water features and provide inclusive, sensory-rich play experience in water for children of all ages and abilities, and meet AODA standards for accessibilities. An outdoor fitness zone to support healthy lifestyles, dedicated pickleball courts to meet growing demand, seating shelter and shade trees for visitors' comfort and enjoyment. These features are designed to cater to residents of all ages, promoting active and inclusive use of the park. The leash-free dog park will provide a safe and dynamic space for dogs and their owners to enjoy. Key features include secure perimeter fencing with controlled access points, transition areas at entrance and within the enclosed space, landscape berms to enhance visual interest, seating areas and covered picnic tables for visitor comfort, agility obstacles to encourage exercise and play, a drinking fountain and waste stations near the entrance for convenience and cleanliness, tree plantings to provide shade and enhance the natural setting. This space not only caters to dog owners, but also fosters community engagement and responsible pet ownership. In the response to the growing popularity of pickleball, 2 existing courts will be converted into dedicated pickleball courts. Additional fencing will define boundaries and enhance safety. This conversion maximizes existing infrastructure while addressing increased demand for pickleball families in Ajax. The Ajax Community Center Recreation Hub is a strategic investment in community well-being designed to enhance recreation, accessibility, and social engagement. We are committed to delivering these improvements efficiently while ensuring they meet the high expectations of our residents. I welcome any questions, feedback, or guidance as we move forward with the implementation phase. Thank you for your time and support.
Thank you so much. Excellent presentation. I do see we have some questions. First on the list is Regional Councillor Crawford. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's exciting to see pickleball, dedicated pickleball courts. Does that mean that the tennis courts become tennis courts again?
We are maintaining the 2 existing tennis courts,
Okay.
so that will still be in place.
Okay, but would the lines then be changed back to be just tennis, or are we expect that that will still be shared?
The out of the 4, sorry, through the chair to Councillor Crawford, out of the 4, we are converting the 2, so new line paintings will create new space for pickleball courts.
But you're going to put 2 new ones, right?
We don't. Yes.
That's what I'm getting at. So they'll have, like, the pickleball courts will be pickleball courts. They won't be pickleball/tennis courts, right?
Through the chair, you're correct. There will
Right.
be, it's a full resurfacing of the 4 existing courts. There'll be the 6 pickleball courts that will be created and lined appropriately, and there'll be 2 dedicated tennis courts that will be lined appropriately as well. We're currently doing some work as a result of direction provided as it relates to the public tennis courts.
Okay.
And their form of construction. So we're just working on a few details as it relates to that right now.
Okay, I know pickleball is a very popular sport, but I still think there's some people that like tennis, but I just wanted to make sure that we weren't losing that sport also. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Councillor Henry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Everything you said, wonderful. Love the AODA part, everything with the pickleball. Question to you, and don't take this as the gospel, it's a question. During one of the accessibility meetings, I have a slight memory of someone saying, and it could have been Sarah Moore, that these type of plans are supposed to go through a run-by of the accessibility committee. Did they? Have they? I don't remember seeing them.
Through the chair to Councillor Henry, at this moment, we're requesting that Council approve the concept plan so that we can move forward. And once we have a consultant hired, we'll go through the process with the consultant, and they will meet with all committees to review and discuss that we meet all criteria either through AODA or any other committees.
Isn't that putting like the cart before the horse? Like, shouldn't it go through accessibility first, have the feedback, and then go to council?
The way this process is formatted is that we we have the preliminary design started right after the concept plan has been approved. So during the preliminary stage is where we start the process in meeting with our committees.
So if there is a change to be made, it can be done even though council has approved this plan?
The changes won't be major, it'll be minor, just to ensure that we meet all the criterias that the committees are requesting.
Okay, I just want to make sure the accessibility committee is not an afterthought, right? There's a voice there and it needs to be heard, and I just want to make sure it's part of the plan. Okay, thank you. That's my question.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the committee? Okay, I just have one. Thank you so much. I'm so excited about this. It looks beautiful. I love it. Thank you for the hard work. So I just want to ask for clarification about the funding, because I know Director Meredith, and also in the report, it talks about funded to the Housing Accelerator Fund, but then I see one of the capital detail sheets for the park lists DC charges for the funding source. So I just want to understand how is this park being paid for?
So just for clarification, and it was a point of clarification that I did want to make today, the half funding is more towards the ACC facility renovations itself, not specifically with respect to the park. You are correct in that the majority of this is DC funded, and that would be the primary funding source if the detailed design was over the $120,000 that we've currently budgeted in the forecast.
Okay, thank you. So maybe I'll just ask, sorry if you weren't planning on bringing that up today. So the comment in the report about the expected $5 to $6 million cost, what is that?
So right now, based on the order of magnitude of the concept that has been developed, we're making an estimate that that's what we would expect the cost to come in that $5 to $6 million range. Right now, all we have approved in the budget is combined between three projects, $120,000 for detailed design. So as we go through and award the contract for detailed design, hopefully prior to summer recess, if the cost to award that contract was greater than $120,000, then we would look to fund it through DCs as opposed to the half funding. When we do the detail sheet for 2026 for the actual construction, we'll have a cost estimate and we will have the appropriate funding that'll be DC and development reserve that would be the primary funding sources.
Okay.
As well as the grant money that we have.
Perfect, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation again. And last call, any other questions? No? Okay. So could I please have a mover for the report in the agenda, which had two recommendations, Regional Councillor Lee, and we will vote, please. And that passes. Thank you so much. Okay, that's everything for the open session of the meeting. Could I please have a mover to move into closed? Councillor Tyler Morin. You're welcome. Let's vote.
Why don't you distract the meetings more with your phone? Why don't you distract the meetings?
One person needs to vote, please. Okay. Thank you. And that passes, thank you. And now finally, could I please have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Regional Councillor dies. And we'll all vote. Thank you. Great job, Chair. Thank you. And that passes. Thank you, everybody. Have a good afternoon.